Hello, I'm Peter Towers. Welcome to Accountants Minute, edition 381. The product packages within ESS BIZTOOLS have been developed to assist accountants and bookkeepers to deliver advisory services to your SME clients, to assist your clients to thrive, scale up, to grow their businesses, to be able to earn an adequate income, and to retire with dignity. The guidelines which we've used for the delivery of the product packages, which contain the videos, the papers, business advisory services forms, training programs, are based on our strategies as to how a product like ESS BIZTOOLS should be implemented. We focus on offering business advisory services tools integrated with mentoring and educational resources such as templates, documentation and strategic tools. The educational resources commence with our 13-module business training program. This is for your team to become acquainted with this concept of offering business advice to your SME clients, to this concept of having far more contact with your clients than only a few times a year, and in some cases only one time a year. Because you're going to be the virtual accounting team within your clients, or at least that's the assumption that we have made in developing the ESS BIZTOOLS product packages, which I am very proud to be able to present to you. It's very important that there's communication with your clients and prospects, because unfortunately for 50, 60 years the accountancy industry in Australia has concentrated on delivery of taxation services, probably ever since we had the Commonwealth Taxation Act introduced during the Second World War. Unfortunately, there has not been enough thought given to how you can contribute to assist your clients to run better businesses, to survive in their businesses, to act as if you were the chief financial officer, which you would be if you were employed by a larger company. I did spend 12 years of my career with a larger company. I was the chief financial officer and company secretary of a listed public company, and I learnt a lot as to how larger organisations run their businesses. They run them as a series of small businesses, but they put an area manager in charge of a number of businesses, and they put an accountant with that area manager so that meaningful management information is available daily, weekly, monthly. And that is the intro brief that I want to leave with you to think about, because I think that's the services that our SME community need, especially at this time with high interest rates, high inflation, business failures going up, high unemployment. We've got a strange set of circumstances, and there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace. Your clients need a strong accounting input. When I was the CFO of a public company, I was part of a 10-man leadership team. Some days I spent nearly all day in meetings with that leadership team, particularly with the CEO, analysing strategies. He was a great thinker. I don't know how many hours a night he slept, but it wasn't for too many, because every day he'd turn up with some questions about, Pete, could we do this? Could we change where we're sending? We were in the meat industry. We were Australia's second largest meat group. So questions were getting raised. Should we be sending meat to Russia, or meat to Japan, or meat to some other market? UK, USA, Canada. And there were different prices on offer. There were different requirements. There were different packaging requirements. In other words, there were different costs being involved. And he wanted the answers pretty quickly. And then he'd go to the sales manager and say, well, can you sell it? Can you get a bit more? So these discussions went on all day. What happens in your SME clients. No one will ever convince me that SME clients have got less problems to worry about than a CEO of a listed public company has, because the CEO of a listed public company had an external board of directors to advise him, 6 people, all highly experienced in business matters, directors of other companies. He had a leadership team of 10. But then we had 13 area managers situated around Australia. We had 13 other accountants in those areas. I had 3 others in head office. And all of that information was being fed back into the CEO and to the other key decision makers. What input do your clients receive? Who do they turn to when they have a great idea? I wonder if that'd work. What's the cost involved? Do they ring you? Honestly answer, please. Do they ring you? Do they ring you at 3 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. in the morning? I had a few of those calls, I might add. But they need input. They think that you're only interested in tax returns. And that's the big thing that the accountancy industry has to break down. That accountants can undertake a lot more work. We need to remind them that our colleagues who are accountants are the CFOs of large organisations, that you can make this input. So the way that ESS BIZTOOLS assists our subscribers to be able to get started on that education process, to educate your SME clients that you can attend to this work, is our monthly newsletter. I write 4 to 6 brief articles. It's only 4 A4 pages. But we are trying to plant the idea into your client's mind that, gee, Jim or Mary, my accountant that I thought could only do tax, could help me with calculating my charge-out rates, can help me with preparing an adequate series of key performance indicators or business metrics that I can look at daily, weekly, monthly, and see whether I'm on track, can sit down with me and prepare a realistic business plan targeted for my business, can alert me to government grants that are available. Your client might be an exporter or just about to start exporting. Well, there's an export market development grant. That applications for round 4 open on the 12th of November. So you can keep your client informed. Your client might be looking at their funding. They've undertaken a research and development project and it looks like it could be a very good project, but they've run out of money. They sit down and talk to you. Well, you can acquaint them with some very important information. It is possible in Australia for private small companies to be able to raise capital from the public. Now, it wasn't always the case, but for over 40 years we've had the ability to raise capital under Section 708 of the Corporations Act. And for the last 7 years, we've had the ability to raise capital as a crowdsourced funding equity raising company, up to $5 million in 12 months. And your client could go back and repeat it the following year and the year after that if they wish, and if the market supports them, of course. And if you've got a very small company, it's only recently started, under 6 years, that's been undertaking innovative activities, research and development in particular. And it looks like they might have a great product that they're developing, that they need money. Well, they can raise funds under the Early Stage Innovation Company banner. And there's some difference about that raising process because the investors are offered a carrot by no other than the Australian Taxation Office. Investors into a company that is accepted by the Tax Office and Oz Industry as being a company eligible to be deemed to be an early stage innovation company receive 20% of their investment off their taxation bill. And if they hold those shares for longer than 12 months and less than 10 years, they don't pay any capital gains tax when they sell those shares. Have you talked to your clients about that? Have you painted this idea that they can grow, they can scale up, they can become bigger and better businesses? So that's what Business Plus helps us do. Let's look at the business advisory services delivery. I think it all starts with an initial due diligence review and then repeated, maybe not as in-depth, but on an annual basis. Because I can assure you, having worked as a senior partner in an accounting firm for over 25 years and having worked in a public company, that there's a lot more information you need to know if you are going to be the key financial advisor to your client. You need to understand what's happening on a day-to-day basis. You need to critically review their internal control system. You need to understand who their customers are, how they're going to pay. Is there proper processes in place? Should there have been registrations made on the Personal Property Securities Register? You need to know who your clients' suppliers are. Where are they located? Are they in a part of the world that is unfortunately caught up in these wars and disputes that we have at present that might interrupt supplies? You need to understand all this. But the internal control aspects, I think, are the most important. So after you've done your due diligence review, which I coined the phrase, is for you to know your clients 1 inch wide and a mile deep, not a mile wide and only an inch deep. You need to understand them more. You then move into the business plan. But please don't just get a business plan out of a textbook or the same one you used for another business last year. This needs to be an individual document prepared for your client. And don't just go off and write it in your office. Convene a meeting of the leadership team. Now, in some of your clients, it might only be 1 or 2 people. I know that. Probably not going to be 10. But sit down with those people and work through. And in ESS BIZTOOLS, we've got very extensive business planning checklists for you to work through. Look at their resources. Look at their plan. What's their strategy? What do they want this business to look like in 3 or 5 years' time? So document it. And then we move into predictive accounting reports. This is budgets, key drivers. That's the sub-accounts for things like inventory, debtors, creditors. Crucial matters when you're looking at where's the funds going to be required in this business. Then, of course, the cash flow forecast and the projected balance sheet. I like projected balance sheets because you can sit down and have a conversation and a glass of wine or coffee, whatever your preference is, with your client and say, well, we've done all this process. We've reviewed your internal control systems and we've made some changes, or we've made some recommendations for changes. We have developed a business plan that you and your team have inputted, and we've come back to you and you've accepted it. Now we have produced the financial interpretation of the business plan, because that's what the budgets and the cash flows and the projected balance sheets are. So you can sit to your client and say, now, if we achieve these targets that you and your leadership team have indicated to me are achievable, that you're going to work towards it, this is what your business will look like from a financial point of view in 3 or 5 years' time. You can become the storyteller to assist your client to understand where all this is heading. And then we move into what we call the 52-week business enhancement system. No more only seeing a client once or twice or maybe 3 times a year. You need to set up a system that's going to be recording data daily. The 52-week business enhancement system. The key components are daily, a daily report, bank balance, income today, debtors today, payments to be made in the next week, making sure that the company's going to have enough money or the business is going to have enough money. And then the weekly performance and profitability report, a vital document that the big end of town produces on their businesses. And in some cases, those businesses like butcher shops contained within Woolworths or Coles or IGA And yet outside, 30 or 40 metres away, there's possibly one of your clients running a butcher shop. Yet do you know that within the Woolworths, Coles organisation, they have a result sheet prepared each week on every one of their activities. In a major supermarket, there can be 40, 45 of those activities. The actual manager of the butcher shop's got his result. He can see what the result was. And the general manager of the store has all of these, so he can go through, or she can go through, and have some discussions, some of them intense discussions, with the direct manager of that organisation. How does your client compete against that? That's why we see people going into butcher shops within the greater supermarket complex not surviving, because they have not introduced the financial disciplines to monitor their business. And then we have the monthly financial accounts for every business unit. This is vital. This is the documentation that's needed. And with it, a comparison to budget, so that can be analysed. What are the variations? The key performance indicators and business metrics. And then you can prepare a report to go to the board of directors. You might actually be a participant in the board of directors. You may even be a director. But your client may have embarked on a board of advice. You could possibly be a member of that. But the key thing is that a report goes into that organisation advising what's happened. Then you can turn your mind to other activities that ESS BizTools will supply you the resources to be able to use. I've talked about Section 708 of the Corporations Act. There's a whole process to raise capital. We've talked about crowdsource funding equity raising. You need to understand how the crowdsource funding intermediaries operate. They're people who have been appointed by the Australian Security Investment Commission. And I would urge you to get to know them, because this is a great area of expansion for accountancy services as you encourage your clients to think positive about being able to raise capital from the public, because they're going to need business plans, predictive accounting reports, internal control situations, briefing on corporate governance. This is the great opportunity for accountants. And this is the overall framework that we have tried to develop ESS BizTools in. Assistance for government grants is very important. There's hundreds of grants in Australia. We offer ongoing training. We present 40 training sessions, 1 hour each, over a calendar year on all sorts of products that we have within ESS BizTools. Our members can go to any training session. They're advised of them all, irrespective of what level of subscription they are making to us. So our service design has been very deliberately set to assist accountants and bookkeepers to perform this very important role. Now, you can do your own thing if you like, but I warn you now, it will take you hundreds of hours to get the material and then a lot of time to keep it up to date. You can pay a reasonable subscription to ESS BizTools, and we supply all those resources. We send you a briefing update, which we call Members Alert, every month. You receive the Business Plus newsletter. There's 40 training sessions for you and your team to attend during the year. And we communicate on a weekly basis of any new developments in government grants, and each week there's developments in government grants, so you get an update on government grants. We keep you informed to be able to perform these very important services for your SME clients. Why don't you go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, and review the service packages which we have available to assist you. If you're inclined to proceed with a subscription application, you can do so. Just click on to product and services and you'll be able to access the subscription form. You can pay on a monthly basis, or you can obtain a discount by paying a yearly in advance subscription. If you would like to talk to me and organise a one-on for your firm, you can have as many people in it as you like, Zoom meeting. I'm happy to accommodate you. That is complimentary. So in 40 minutes, we'll give you an overview of what ESS BizTools can offer. I'll ask you some questions about your firm and your level of preparation, and we can then discuss how you would go about it. Incidentally, you don't have to suddenly start offering advisory services to 100 clients. All you need to do is start with 1 or 2 and just start working and developing the skills within your firm. And we will help you. All you've got to do is send me an email or make a telephone call, which incidentally is 07 4724 1118. Thanks for listening, and I hope that if you are embarking on a range of services within your accountancy or bookkeeping firm, you will think very seriously about providing services that are going to enhance the performance of your SME clients and the prospects that I'm sure you will recruit if you become known in your community as being a forward-thinking accounting firm that is able to help your SME clients to survive and thrive in business and overcome the present difficulties that are confronting us all. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye.